Joining our conversation is Hugh Dugan. He joins us from New York. He's a visiting scholar in UN Studies at Seton Hall University School of Diplomacy and International Relations. Hugh, boy, what a difference a few months make. What are your thoughts when you heard about this meeting happening in Beijing? What was your reaction?
Well, what a difference a few days make, and even a few hours. We seem to learn things as they appear in the press, even after it's taken place. Well, I think to be quick about it, the North was going through South Korea in communicating with the U.S. during the Olympics, and it looks as though it's decided to switch up the game and choose China as its interlocutor, which I think is a very savvy move because it puts China and the U.S. together in a way that could possibly be manipulated by North Korea. They love to either be isolated in the world, and when they come out of their isolation, they love nothing more than to play the great powers against each other.
Well, do you think this is a game of manipulation by Kim Jong-un?
Well, of course, the statesmanship involved is Machiavellian, and obviously he's got his agenda. Why this was an unofficial visit, for instance, is a strange thing to realize, and the press is calling it an unofficial visit. Could that be another means of communicating to the U.S. that something funny is afoot? Honestly, I believe that North Korea all along hasn't really been targeting the U.S. as its biggest fear. I think its biggest fear, frankly, is China on its border, the long history between them, having been squeezed by China in the past over the hundreds of years, and perhaps it's trying to talk to China through the U.S. all of this time.
Kim was reported as saying the issue of a nuclear-free Korean peninsula can be resolved, of course, with conditions. But the fact that he even said those words on record, how significant is that?
Well, I think it's as significant that he's acknowledged on record that he's looking forward to a meeting with President Trump, because until this moment, we weren't certain that that was the intention of North Korea. So that is what strikes me as impressive. Denuclearization, who defines that and under what terms? The North Koreans believe that's to be the removal of all U.S. nuclear protection over South Korea. So we have to bear that in mind, as your announcer mentioned earlier, that the condition for denuclearization is not simply one of the North giving up its nuclear program in Kim's eyes.
And what does this mean for President Trump going into this summit, historic summit, if it actually does happen in May, with Kim Jong-un?
Well, it's a great opportunity to see the regime at work, to understand personality, to gauge intent. All of these opportunities, the openings that these public relations events provide us, give us needed context, because nobody really knows anything about what's going on inside of North Korea.
What's the best realistic outcome for the summit, Hugh? Because the expectations seem to be rather high here.
Yes, and expectations always need to be managed in diplomacy. The fact that they meet is a huge accomplishment. Whatever is on the agenda is secondary. Where they meet, the circumstances, the protocol, the format, all of that's going to be very important, because, let's face it, this is a long-term relationship, and this is the start of something that we hope we can build on over time. Not just the U.S., though. This is also something for the entire world to watch, because the Korean War was authorized by the United Nations. It was not strictly a U.S.-North Korea war, and the rest of the world has a stake in its peaceful outcome finally at some point in the future.
And how unusual is it that Kim has yet to confirm such a summit with President Trump?
Well, I understand the media out of China stated that he looked forward to his meeting with President Trump. And that's the news report I saw, which was encouraging to hear that this is on as far as Kim is concerned, because we had only been relying upon reports through South Korea.
All right, Hugh Dugan, thank you.
Thank you.